Welcome back to 50 for 50. This is the video series where I take one horror movie from each of the 50 years of my life and review it for you. Let's get started. Today we start the decade of the 1990s with the psychological horror Misery, directed by Rob Reiner, adapted from a Stephen King novel of the same name. Famous writer Paul Sheldon crashes his car during a snowstorm and is rescued by Annie Wilkes, a former nurse who claims to be his #1 fan. Takes him to her house instead of the hospital and claims that it's because the roads are closed and she'll get him to the hospital as soon as the roads open again. At first, Annie seems like a very caring nurse, but things take a dark turn when she reads Paul's latest novel and finds out that he's killed off her favorite character, Misery Chastain. Enraged, she forces Paul to write a new novel bringing Misery back to life, and she punishes him brutally when he disobeys. As Paul realizes he's being held captive by a deeply disturbed woman, he realizes he must try to outsmart her and escape before it's too late. I read this book when I was in high school, but I never watched the movie. I loved the book. I thought it was amazing, but I never really thought that Stephen King's novels were adapted very well as movies. I never really had the desire to see this movie. So this was a first watch for me, and I regret not seeing it years ago. This was an excellent adaptation of the novel. Now, they left a lot of stuff out of the movie. This movie is more psychological than it is straight horror. So you don't have a lot of gore or jump scares. There's just this sense of unease through the whole thing, and paranoia and claustrophobia through the, and don't get me wrong, there are some deeply disturbing scenes in this movie. And if you've seen it and you know about the hobbling scene, you know what I'm talking about. But this was still a great horror movie. It really messes with your mind. There was some great acting in this movie as well. Kathy Bates as Annie Wilkes is absolutely phenomenal. In fact, she won the Academy Award for Best Actress that year, which hardly ever goes to someone who's in a horror movie. She was absolutely fantastic in this role. But then you can't leave out James Caan playing Paul Sheldon. He was great as well, and I love Richard Farnsworth. He's one of my favorite actors as he plays Buster the sheriff. This movie was a great way to get us started in the 90s. I gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd. I would have given it 5, but it just didn't get all the way to 5 stars for me, but it is definitely 4 stars. If you're someone who likes psychological